Welcome to our homeschool room. Now, I want to give you a tour of our homeschool room, the things that we use to organize it and keep it looking like this the majority of the time. But also know that if you don't have a homeschool room, you don't need one. For the first 6 months of our homeschooling, we used our dining room table and a buffet that we used all that for all of our storage. Until we finished our base, we didn't have all this room. And we know that not everyone that homeschool is going to have space like this. And so as you watch this, take ideas on how we organize, but you don't need this bigger room. In case we haven't met, my name is Brandy. I'm a full-time working homeschooling mom. I have a second grader and also a 2-year-old. My husband is also part of our homeschooling, and we use this room for not only homeschooling, but art. And we set this up in a way that is used for our family as well. So if you love organizing, homeschooling, you want to keep your homeschool simple, then make sure to hit subscribe and get notified every Tuesday when I put out new videos. When we went to design our homeschool room, the big thing that kind of set the tone for everything was we wanted a big table. And so we went with this table from IKEA, and most everything in the room is from IKEA. But this table we made sure was hard, solid wood, and we went with the 6 chairs. Anything that I have links for, I'll make sure to drop those in the description so you can find them. But we went with a big table because we knew we wanted to utilize this room for also when family and friends come in and we want to have play cards or board games or anything like that. So this does serve a multi-function, which is why we went with this big a table. It's also great for when we do arts because we can really spread out. So that was the deciding factor of how we set up our entire homeschool room, really started with our table. Now, some things that we keep at hand's reach at all times is the iPad. We don't use a lot of iPads, but with All About Reading, All About Spelling, we use their word sounds instead in their app instead of using like the handheld letters. We also have whatever book we're reading, our pencils, markers, dry erase, and I just got this in the dollar section of Target, so something super simple. We always have our planner, so my husband and I know exactly what's happening. And then we have our timer. We use this for independent reading, all about spelling, sometimes with math, just to make sure that our daughter knows like how much time's left. That's been really helpful for her. So then the second deciding thing that we had to do was how are we going to keep everything organized? And we have this big wall right here. So we had lots of options. We could have done something custom, but the one that we found that was most cost effective for us was once again IKEA. These are all IKEA shelves, solid hardwood, but still affordable and cheaper than built-ins. And then we went with the bookcases on the two. The TV, I will honestly tell you, we like never use the TV for homeschool. I'd love to take it down and replace it with some cool map or anything, but it's up there now. It's mounted. I'm sure that we'll use it once the kids get older, but also when we set up this room, we have a ping pong table on that side. So this was really set up for not only homeschool, but for our family to enjoy. So we do have the TV, but we never use it for homeschool. If we are watching homeschool videos, it's either on the iPad or in our living room upstairs. And then on our bookcases, this section is what notebooks, things that we're using currently. So for this one, this is our science, parents' guides. These are all the PDFs that I went on and bound and put together. So these are the ones we're currently using in our homeschool year. Then we have our geography basket here. This is for our US states. So we have a scrunch map, flashcards, some other things, the map. And so this is where we keep our US geography that we can grab whenever we're doing that. In this basket, we have our All About Reading and All About Spelling. So that they're currently working on. That goes in there. And then on here, we always keep what artists we're working on, which painting. So right now, I just switched it over to Monet. And we are getting ready to go to Amsterdam. So we are studying the tulips. So we have that. Then up here is all of our play money for math with confidence. So we just have that to quickly grab. And then this basket is my basket. That's got all my planning in it, scissors, day dots, all that kind of stuff. That's my basket that stays there. And then we just have our cute little mushrooms. This apple was actually a gift to us from my mother-in-law, who was a teacher. She got it her first year of teaching, and then she passed it on to me. So we like to keep that visible. And then I'll go over the top and then we'll take a look at what's in the bottom. So over here, these are really, really cool. These are plate holders from IKEA. And so we got these for super cheap. And keep whatever books we're currently using for that week. So this gets rotated a lot. So last week, this was Van Gogh. Now we have Monet. Also back here, then we get into Mozart. So we keep all of our arts beauties right here. Then this is our geography. So we're studying Paris this week. So this got put here. These kind of stay all the time because they're our world atlas, 101 awesome women. And so this is our geography. Then we have our big table books. We have the arts encyclopedia and then Monet this week because that's what we're working on. Our science. And then this one's usually for our blossom and root books when we have like onomatopoeia and stuff. But this week we are on, fortunately, the milk. So it's just that one. But normally that one is full of our literature. So that's how we keep all of our books that we're currently using organized. And then over here, this is our grab and go of like our colored pencils, our markers, all of those things. We also have Bodhi's basket. So this is for our 2-year-old. So he has like his big crayons. We also put like any broken crayons in here as well. We have our whiteboards. These are probably one of our most used items. So we have all of our whiteboards that we keep on here. I'll make sure to link these. I love these for the double-sided. We use these in pretty much every subject. So we have these that I got a massive pack of. And then these are our reference books. So the dictionary, grammar, Shakespeare. This is more for me. And then here's all of our upcoming read alouds. So I put for pretty much term 1, term 2, and I think maybe some term 3 will be on here. But these are the books that we have coming up. So we have those there. These are more of our family travel books. Since we do travel all the time, we like to keep these out in center. Same thing up there. And then these are our nature study or science reference books that we keep up along with our globe. This is from Kirkland, so I'm not going to go to link it, but that's where we got that from. And then over here, we use the Brother printer. This is probably one of the most like used and loved things that we have in our homeschool room. We would not be able to get through homeschooling without this printer. I know some people use the Eco Tank. We went with this one and I'm super happy with it. So that is the top portion. Now we get into these. So right here, this one is really just construction paper, printer paper, another printer. This is a printer I already had. So this one it's more high quality, I think, but it prints way slower and it would cost a fortune for ink. So we usually use this one for like our sticker paper and things like that. So we keep all of that in there. And this one is probably our messiest. This is our art one. We have our watercolor stuff. That's all of our watercolor, our pastels, our clay, extra markers, paintbrushes, crayons. We're excited to use these. We just picked these up, but we're doing fungi study coming up. So we're going to be painting those. And then we have our art trays. These are fantastic for the kids. They use these for Play-Doh, paint, coloring. So we always grab these. And then we have our acrylic paints, our Play-Dohs, feathers, all that kind of like little stuff is down there as well. So that's where we keep all of our art supplies. And then this one is more of my stuff. So I have my binding stuff down here. I use the Pro Click. I have all of my bindings. So you can use these. But another thing you can do is actually get these. And they hold a lot more. So I use the Pro Click. And then I know some people say they can only go up to 120 pages. But if you use these with the Pro Click, you can actually go up way more. This holds 170. And then I have 240 page ones down there. And if you want to see a video on how I bind all of our curriculum, let me know in the comments and I'll make sure to create one for you. And then here is like my laminating paper, my page protectors, all of that. And then postcards, like this is just like extra stuff for me to get everything ready. Same thing with this cabinet. This is more of the books that we have coming up. This is usually where I put like library books that we have coming up to use. And then this is just extras. So like if we have extra money down here, extra storage containers, we have different, like these are baskets for Bodhi's shelf. We have our extra pads. So this is just like all the extra stuff or any science experiments that we haven't done yet. They're in there. And then this one is our current math. So that's our math with confidence. We have extra manipulatives down there and then our all about reading and all about spelling. So really a lot of these cabinets could be combined, which I'm showing you, you don't need a ton of space to homeschool. We got this. We have a little bit of decor. We like to keep it simple, but we just got this at Target. And then right here, we picked this one up at a cool place in Gatlinburg, which was perfect for this year. So my idea is that we'll rotate based on what we're studying. So we are about to do a big fungi lesson with Blossom and Root Level 2. If you want to see how we picked that, click that video up there and I'll link up my whole video walking you through our plant study. And then our last area would be, and so this is our map for our family, where we're traveling, where we're about to travel. So we like to keep that updated. And then this is really my 2-year-old shelf where we rotate out his stuff, which books he has currently. We have his trucks, Van Gogh, the blue and yellow is what he's working on right now. This bin right here is for our library books. We just returned books yesterday, so that's why it's empty. But usually we put all of our library books that need to be returned in here. And then we have the Yoto, of course. My daughter has a mini Yoto, and then we use this one down here. It's really great because she likes to know what time it is, so it has the time, but then also we can use it for any of our studies that we're doing or to put music on. And then here's where we just throw up any art or things that we've done recently, and then the chalkboard for whenever we're working on vocabulary or things like that, we'll use that. Here's another great map. These are also great reference maps. Here's our U.S. states map. This is supposed to have photos in it, but that has not happened yet. But we use it as our main map as well for states. And then this is for my 2-year-old, but also my 7-year-old. They sit here. Lots of Play-Doh happens, painting, all that. This is really his table. And then these frames I talked about in my homeschool haul video, which I will put right here. And so with this one, we just got Riley's Van Gogh painting up. So this art, these actually hold 100 pieces of art in here for the kids. So we just got those up. So we don't have one for Bodhi yet, but they can just push back and then you have a place for that. So that's our homeschool room. We keep it pretty simple. Like I said, you don't need all the space. And then if you're wondering where the heck are all of our books, make sure to watch the video linked here that I go through my whole library setup, our home library. We do have more bookcases over back there, which is where we keep all the books that we're not currently using or reading at the moment. But we do try to keep most of our books over here that we're using at the time. So I hope this gave you some inspiration on how to set up your homeschool room or some organization tips. So let me know, what is your favorite part about your homeschooling room, or are you just around the dining room table, which is where we spent a lot of our time and where we still do a lot of homeschooling. So I'll see you in the next video.